Hello guys, this playlist will be totally dedicated to SQLite. Now here's the thing, we will not do stuff manually. Why? When we have Python, which is extremely beautiful programming language. So we will use Python. Why not? Now what about pronunciation? Well, actually I'm saying SQLite and MySQL because it's easier for me, it's somehow logical, but some people are saying SQLite and MySQL. So if you have some very good reason why I need to switch my pronunciation, then write it down in the comment section below, because I really want to know. Personally, I don't care about terminology and theory so much, I just care about results. Do we have results or not? Because results are something that you can put on a market and start generating money, so you can pay your bills. So much about pronunciation. Anyway guys, why SQLite is so popular? Because you will find it in smartphones, in tablets, in PCs. This is where they say there are over 1 trillion SQL databases in active use. This thing is probably somewhere on Mars, you know, because it is in public domain, it is free for everyone to use for any purpose, and you will use it for test applications, for prototyping, for real stuff. You can use it for PCs, you can use it for your mobile phones if you're developing something, I mean for whatever you like, and you don't need to pay anything. Okay, so what is that thing anyway? Well, it's not based on client-server architecture like MySQL, let's say, because in MySQL on one machine you will have server, on another machine you will have client, and then client will push stuff to server and get reports from there. Now here SQLite database is just file sitting somewhere in your phone or somewhere on your desktop, I mean in your application. It is small, it is fast, it is self-contained, highly reliably full-featured SQL database engine. What that means is, if you know SQL commands from MySQL, for example, you actually right now know how to work with SQLite, because these things are like, well, I'm gonna use that term, almost the same. I mean, principles are same. Right, what else? It is self-contained, serverless, we said that, zero configuration, just one file, transactional SQL database engine. So, what else is interesting here? Well, I don't want to waste your time too much. So what about downloads? Now, because you're going to work with Python, you don't need to download anything. You already have SQLite 3 Python module, probably, actually that module. And what you can do, if you like, if you prefer, is a graphical like management interface, which is SQLite Studio. So just grab it, you know, and put it somewhere on a desktop, because we may use it to show things like in more proper way. Some people like graphical interfaces. I think I have it. Just a second. Right, so I have downloaded it already, and if you want to run it, you just double click on SQLite Studio, but don't do that yet, okay, because we need to create first database. Right, where I was. Okay, let's do that. So import import SQLite 3, and immediately we will press F5 just to confirm that we do have in Python by default that module. So at least I have it. You probably have it too. Okay, next thing is we need to establish connection to that file, and that database doesn't exist yet. So act of connection is actually right now act of creation of that file. So, of that database. So, connection, this is just a handle, and SQLite 3 is module, and we're going to say to connect, and in parentheses, we're going to state the name of that database, of that file. So, my database dot extension will be db, right? And also, when you're working with databases, it's kind of polite to close operations, connections actually. So say connection.close. Close is a function. So let's press F5 to see what's happening. Here nothing, which means fine, no red errors. That's kind of cool. And if we check our folder where we have our script, then also we need to find that file. So let me actually do that. Open, and I'm gonna switch to all files, and there you go, guys. Immediately, a couple of seconds ago, created file, 0 kilobytes, which means nothing is there. So edit with Notepad++, and nothing is here. Okay, don't worry about that. We will fulfill that database a little bit later. Now, another thing is, it is not enough to have database. We also need to establish cursor. Cursor is just a way how you will how to explain this. You know, from MySQL playlist that you have terminal like a DOS or Linux stuff, and then that cursor is blinking. Well, same stuff here. You need to have like a virtual cursor that is blinking in the background. So think about cursor as virtual cursor in Python script. So let's establish that cursor. And where that cursor is, well, connection, it is dedicated to connection, and just say cursor. So this is our handle for cursor. You can use ABC here if you like, but this is real useful stuff. Okay, now when we have cursor, we will print, for example, database created. We actually created it, but who cares? Let's have a custom report here. Database created, and now what? Well, now we need to issue some commands, SQL commands, right? So what are we I don't know how to say this. I'm gonna type it. Select SQLite version, because we need to find out about version of our SQLite. So is that enough? Don't forget semicolon. Is that enough? Well, no, because this is just like a prepared statement. So we need to issue this thing. How? Well, we're gonna say cursor and then dot and then execute. Execute what? Well, this operation, SQL. Okay, and that's cool. And also, is that enough? Well, no, because we need to grab stuff from before cursor when we execute this script. Actually, we are grabbing results. So we will say results, let's say, and how we are going to grab it? Well, cursor dot fetch all, like grab stuff, grab everything. All, fetch all, and no parameters here. And also we will print like a version. This is our custom report, and then we will concatenate that with results. Okay, and also, guys, it's kind of polite to close cursor, but close cursor before connection. Okay, now here's the thing, why do we use SQLite version and not just version? So let me find that in documentation. Module, and where is that thing? Right. So here's the thing, when you say just a version, you will get the version of the module as a string. When you say version info, again you will get the version number of the module. But when you say SQLite version, you will get the version of SQLite library as a string. And if you want to have that thing as a tuple with integers, then you will say SQLite version info. But I am fine with SQLite version, so yeah, just that will work, hopefully, if I didn't create some kind of error while I was typing. Okay, guys, so right, F5, and there you go, database created. Yeah, we already have it, and this is a version of SQLite. Now here's the thing, you will probably say, well, we had that database before, what about another database? Well, we can just say, I don't know, like MyDB, and let's run this thing again, and again we have a result. So let's check our file. File, open, switch to all files, and there you go, MyDB is here and my database is here, and also MyDB is empty. We didn't push anything there. There you go. Okay, now this was kind of hard coding, so question is, can we have some kind of error checking? Well, sure, we can use try except block of code. And yeah, let's do that. Let me see what I can do. We can say try to do these things. We need connection, we need cursor. We can print a little bit of custom report. We will also have the statement, and we will execute stuff, we will grab reports, and yes, we will print results. Okay. Yeah, we will close cursor too. Okay, but what about we run into some kind of errors? Well, we will say except, and then we will call SQLite tree error, like a general error. Handle for that thing will be just, and then in that case, if we do have error, we will just print, for example, like connection error or cursor problem. Okay. And what's next? Okay, finally, if in a final block of code we will close connection. So how to do that? Well, finally, and if you don't know what these blocks of code are, then you have my basic Python playlist with the 41 tutorials. I think the last tutorial is dedicated to try except block of code. So finally, if we do have connection, you can use parentheses here, or you can forget about that, but you know, whatever you like. So if we do have connection, and if everything is fine, we will close that connection, and then we will print that I don't know, like connection closed. Connection closed. Now this finally block of code will be executed no matter what happens with code before. If everything is fine, cool, but this will be executed, and if we do have some kind of error, still this code will be executed. So whatever happens, connection will be closed. That means we don't need this line. Okay, save, and I want to show you something to you about that error stuff, because this is just a handle. You also can target very precisely errors. I think errors, where are they? Probably down there somewhere. Right, exceptions. So you have warnings, generic errors, concrete errors about that are related to database, integrity errors, programming errors, operational errors, and not supported error. If you're trying to like push something there which is not supported or something like that. But I'm gonna use SQLite error generic stuff because it's, you know, globally generic, so it will spit something if it's if there is a problem. Right. Okay, so we need to run this, and I'm gonna also change the target to target just to make sure that everything is fine. Okay, so F5, connection closed, and it will be nice if we check what's happening with our target. Okay, target 0 kilobytes, empty stuff. But yeah, we have it. Okay guys, so much about SQLite in this tutorial. In the next one we're gonna, I don't know, we're gonna create tables, right? So we can use that graphical manager that we have downloaded from internet. There are a couple of them, but I decided, you know, to use, what is that, like SQLite Studio, right? I'm gonna shut up as always. Thanks for watching, and yeah, see you next tutorial. See you there. Hello guys, objective in this tutorial will be to create table inside target database, and also we're gonna reuse a lot of from a last script because really there is no need to retype these things again. So try except block, finally stuff will remain here. Okay, what about SQL instruction? Well, actually we're gonna push cursor down there, and SQL will be defined right here. Let me delete this space here a little bit, it's kind of ugly, right? So SQL, well, we are going to use triple quotes here because we will need multiple lines, and we will say, check this out, Actually, let's have 6 of these because I wanna have that syntax highlighting, how to say that? Anyway, create table and not database. We are already in database, so create table, and the name of table will be people, because we will push columns about people in that table, actually values, right? So next line will be a little bit of indentation, ID. So ID will be first column, and it will be integer, and it will be primary key. And how to say that we want this key to be auto incremented? You will not say like auto increment like from MySQL. You will just have these things concatenated. So auto increment. Okay, let me check. Auto increment, right? And comma, and let's proceed with next column. Well, the next thing will be name of the person. It will be text. So there is no need to type here like varchar like in MySQL, because these are data types that you can use in SQLite. Null, integer, real, it's floating point value, text, basically bunch of strings, and blob, you can use it to store some kind of images or something that is packed, that is not classical text. Right, so name will be text and not null, which means we must have something in that column, or the system will return to us error if we try to push something in a table where column name is not fulfilled. Right, so, and actually this will be for all other columns, why not? Next thing, last name. Last name will be text, not null. And the next thing, telephone. Telephone will be, of course, integer, not null, or whatever you like. And again, well, let me think. Right, email will be text, not null. We must have it. And also address of person, text, not null. And now we need to close our instruction and semicolon, and yeah, let's concatenate these things right here, quotes with rest of the stuff. Right, now what? Well, now let me clear this. Now we need to push this thing, actually execute this thing on cursor. So we will say cursor dot execute what? Well, our prepared SQL statement, SQL. Is that enough? Well, no, because we need to target connection. We need to push things through connection. How? Well, connection dot commit, and then we can print something like table created, and now we will say cursor close. Okay, let me fix this space a little bit because it's kind of ugly, and when I press F5, hopefully I will have something. Right, so table created, connection closed. Cool. Right, now what? How to check this? Well, as I said, the easiest thing is just go to SQLite Studio. Let's go there. And where is my directory? Oh, here. And go to SQLite Studio. Give it a couple of seconds to warm up. Hopefully everything will be fine here. And in a split of a second, yeah, let me resize this a bit. Like that. And first thing here, we need to add our database, because you cannot work with a table if you don't have database in a listing. So database, add a database, and here just switch to file section, click on plus, and in a place where you have your database, just click on it. In my case it's target, and actually I can delete these MyDB and my database. I don't need it anymore. So I'm gonna click on target, save, And yeah, you can just click here on permanent to keep database in configuration, and you can test connection. Everything is fine. I mean, connection, it's just a file. And okay, and here we are, guys, we do have it. Okay, double click here and we do have tables and views. In views we don't have anything. In tables we do have one table. Let's double click in it, or you can press here and you will see what kind of columns we have there. Double click and here we are, guys. Okay, so you can double click on people, which is our table, and you see everything just like we have in our Python script. Now you can check stuff, but everything is kind of fine. If you wanna, for some very weird reason, drop auto incremented ID, then you can just click here, double click, and you have a bunch of options. Primary key, of course it is, here we are, we see that for ID. And as I said, if you wanna change something, you have those options here, but the most important thing is if you click on configure, then you can drop that auto increment stuff. But I advise you just to leave that in place, because the whole purpose of ID is to be auto incremented by one. You don't want duplicates in your table. Right, guys. Okay, what is interesting here is, let me see, well, sure, you can add things here, I mean values, but we're gonna do that through Python script. You have form view. And another thing is, what was, if for example, if you're grabbing someone else's table and database, you're probably wondering how those tables, those columns were arranged, how they were created. Well, you can click on DDL, and here you will see actually the thing that you can copy paste in your scripts to reuse it and you know, improve it if you like. If you're grabbing database and table, as I said, that were written by someone else, so you're like doing your own version of CMS, let's say, that is based on some open source version, something like that. Okay, guys, that's pretty much in this tutorial. In the next one, where is that thing? In the next one, we are going to well, yeah, push things in a table through Python script. As always, thank you for watching, and see you next tutorial. Yep, see you there. Okay, guys, in this tutorial we're gonna learn how to push with the Python script new values in table with the name people, because we have it because of last tutorial. Right, so that's what we are going to do, and we will reuse a lot of code from a last tutorial. So what is instruction here? Well, insert into, what is the name of table? People. And now you can have a long line of instruction here, or you can just go to next line. And let's have a little bit of indentation. And now we need to state those columns one after another. So we don't need to say ID as the first column, because it will be auto incremented, so we can just drop it here. The thing will be done automatically. What we need to follow is order of all other important columns: name and the last name and telephone and email, if I remember, yeah, email, and then address. Okay, let's go to next line. We will say values. And what are those values? Well, for name we're gonna say John. For last name we're gonna say Smith. We're gonna put some stupid number here like 444 555. Email, let me see, like John at John. Okay. And address will be main road 123, or Sweet Home Alabama. Right. And of course I'm gonna use semicolon here. And what else we can change here? Well, pretty much nothing. We can just change, you know, like those custom report, what's happening, like table created. We are not creating tables here, so insert operation. Okay, let's say insert, and down there, if we run into some kind of error, we will say error while inserting data. Right. And the rest of the script is just same like from couple tutorials before. Right, when I press F5, hopefully everything will be fine. That means that we need to check reality in a table. So go to data, and you don't see anything here because we didn't, this is just a file. Okay, so you need to refresh kind of manually and refresh, and now we do have everything on this thing, and ID is a 1. Okay guys, so is there any other way we can insert data here? Well, sure. You can use form view, but honestly I find this a little bit confusing, so I can use grid view. Okay, so just say here plus, and forget about ID, it will be null. Basically it will be automatic at the end of the day. Name will be, let's say, Samantha, last name Smith, and telephone will be 444-555. Let's say they live in the same house. Samantha at Samantha and same house, so main road 123. Press enter. And now what? Well, now we need to click here, which is basically commit, that we done in a script with a dedicated line. So this is not script, so commit, and there you go, everything is fine. Okay, so question is, well, what about ID next time when I run my Python script? Will it be like 3 or something else? Well, it's really not important if you're using grid view or form view or Python script or any other script like a PHP script. The IDs will always be auto-incremented. So let me change my script here a little bit. I'm gonna insert, let's say, Slavoj Žižek. He will be at the phone number, some high phone number, and email will be Slavoj@Žižek TLD, and address will be, of course, Slovenia. Okay, F5 to check what's happening. Insert operation, okay, connection closed, and let's check what's happening. Now we don't see anything because we didn't do that refresh thing. Okay, refresh, and 3, there you go guys, it is auto incremented. Right, so much in this tutorial, and as always, thanks for watching, and see you next one where we are going to do something fun. For example, we can grab things from keyboard and insert it like that. It's like we are creating very simple console application, let's use that term, because we can run our Python script in a terminal or command prompt. Right, so thank you for watching, and see you next tutorial. Okay guys, as I promised in the last tutorial, we're gonna write a script that will constantly ask us about new values. So let's do that. Here we're gonna have like information what this script will do, nothing very special, some kind of banner, let's say. So SQLite inserter, custom inserter, version 0.1. And yeah, after that we're gonna have like a couple of these middle lines for 79 times, just, you know, some kind of vertical differentiation. Right, so here in a try block of code we need to accept those things from end user. So key name will hold input, and we need to inform end user what is expected here. So name, uppercase N is a kind of polite here, and a little bit of space. Right, so also we need to grab for last name, for telephone, for email, and for address. So let's change these things. This will be for last name, and this will be for telephone, and this will be for email, and this will be for address. And that means we need to change corresponding information here. Last name and telephone. And basically, by default, what we are going to grab in Python is a string, so we need to convert that thing to integer. and you know that from basic Python playlist on my channel probably. And email, right, email and address. Okay, that's kinda nice. Let me delete this vertical space, it's kinda ugly. Right, so down there we will not change too many things. This is needed, values needed. So here we need to have like a dynamic way how to grab things from above. So we're gonna use placeholders. I mean, I call them placeholders in English. Maybe there is another terminology for that, I don't know. Basically these things. So in that thing will be put somewhere from up here. So this one, the first placeholder, will correspond to name. And guys, don't forget comma here and single quotes, because if you don't use single quotes you will run into problem, your script will fail. So let me copy paste this couple of times, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 of these, which corresponds to number of columns and to number of things we are going to grab from keyboard. Right. Is that enough? Well, no, because on the right side we need to have format. Because with the format we will grab these things, and then when we grab them, then we will just, you know, shoot them right here. So just think about this thing as a mortar. So this is the place where you're shooting from, and this is the place where those data will hit. If you're playing Battlefield, you know, or some kind of games, you will know what I'm talking about. Or if you are in the military or something like that. Anyway. Right. So we can have all of these on one line, or we can go down there. So yeah, let me see. Well, I'm gonna go here. The first thing we are going to grab that will go to here will be key name, from keyboard name, and then last name, and then from keyboard telephone, and from keyboard email, and also address. Okay, now what? Let me think. Well, do I need to change anything here? Well, not at the moment. Let me test this. Hopefully it will work. F5. Okay, right, so we at least have something, some kind of prompt. So let's say, what are we going to put here? Like Jordan and Peterson and telephone 222-333. Email will be Jordan at some server, and address will be at the moment Belgrade at the moment. Right, so enter. And insert operation OK, and now it will be very smart to check those things with SQLite Studio. Don't forget to refresh things, and that's it, guys. We do have it. Why do I have 5 here and not 4? Because I was practicing this, because I need to make sure that my scripts will work, you know, from like ground zero. So everything is fine. I deleted that number 4, so 5 is normal expected behavior. Don't worry about it. Right, so let me, okay, that's kind of cool. Right, so next thing is how to structure this script to constantly ask us about requests. Well, we are going to use like a while loop here. So while true, and now we need to flush all these things to right side. And yeah, I mean, we can export this thing like outside. I mean, no, let's have everything here. Yeah, I mean, it's simple, it will work. So I'm gonna grab everything and press tab, and this is how you automatically flush things to right side. Right, so here also I can delete this space. Some people like to have it, some not. And F5 to test if everything is fine. And yeah, what else we can type here? I don't know. Samantha, Fox 111-222, Samantha at server, and address center of city 123. And okay, that's cool. Script asks us again, so I'm gonna type some gibberish here like ASD 123, email ASD at asd.insane_tld, and address, of course, ASD 123. And that's cool. Now, here's the thing. First, we need to change, do we have that thing in a database? Right. Okay, we do have Samantha and ASD. But the thing is that we don't have some polite way how to get out from script. So now we need to press Ctrl+C to break from script, which is kind of ugly. What we can do is to check for user input, and if that input is quit, we'll just break from script. So where I need to have that? Right here. Okay, so question, like a check. So check equals input, press or enter like quit to get out, enter quit to break, and if check equals to quit, we will in that case just break from script while we are printing script terminated. Script terminated. Okay, and I think that will get the job done. So F5, invalid syntax. Right, so we need to have like a double symbols here. And now the thing will work. Okay, enter quit to break, and again I have very ugly question because I don't have space here. I like spaces. And now it's better. Enter quit to break. Quit. Okay, script terminated. Name con is not defined. What is happening here? Well, it is defined. Oh, right. So actually I need to check that thing before I do this. So we can just copy paste this right here, and I think that will solve the problem. F5 quit. Okay, that's cool. So that will solve the problem. So let me test one more time. Can I enter values without any kind of problem? So if I press enter here, I will go to name, and then I will say again ddd 111 ddd at yeah, this is boring and stupid, but it will work. Ddd 123. Right, enter. And we don't want to type anything here in our table, so I'm gonna type quit to get out from script. Okay, let's check what is happening in SQLite Studio. SQLite Studio. I always have double L in my pronunciation because I don't know, who cares. Refresh, and do I have it? Yes. Okay guys, that's pretty much it in this tutorial, nothing special. Let's beautify this a little bit. I'm gonna delete these ugly spaces vertically. So if this is a kind of confusing, guys, you need to check my playlist on the basic Python stuff, and I have a lot of examples in a Python examples dedicated playlist. But basically, if you're learning about SQLite and Python, then you definitely have these like knowledge, at least basic stuff, how to grab stuff with the format, how to get stuff from keyboard, how to get out from script, and what is while true, what is while loop. Yeah, the rest of the stuff is same stuff as in a couple of last tutorials. So I'm gonna shut up as always. Thanks for watching, for support and subscription, and see you next tutorial. Hello guys, in this tutorial we're gonna learn how to insert automatically multiple rows in our table. So you probably recognize this base script from two tutorials before, I think, when we were inserting only one row. Well, let's just reuse it because there is no purpose in retyping these things again, you will get bored. Right, so see these things, well, we need to change them for question marks, and number of question marks need to correspond to number of columns we care about, because those question marks that need to be separated with a comma will represent real stuff that we will grab from list that will be outside of try except block of code. So they are also like placeholders, you know. It depends how you think about that and what terms you are using. I'm using the term placeholders. So right, 5 of them, 5 of columns. Right. So outside, as I said, we need to define a list with a bunch of stuff, a bunch of rows. So let's give it a name, source list. Or whatever you like, ABC will get the job done. So for every row, we need to have dedicated parentheses, because in here we will have corresponding values. Values, number of them need to correspond to number of columns and number of placeholders. Well, obviously. Anyway, Nikita for name, and I don't know. I'm very bad with names and last names, these generic like data, so I'm gonna use something that I always use. I absolutely hate to think about these things. So anyway, I'm gonna copy paste pretty much from my memory. 567, and mail will be Nikita at Nikita, and address will be somewhere in Alabama. 345, something like that, probably non-existing street and building, but who cares. And now let's separate the first row from another row with a comma. And let's go to next line, because we don't want to pollute ourselves too much. I mean our script. We don't want to have never-ending lines. So next line will get the job done. Right. So next name will be Mihaela. It's Ela. For me, it's very easy to pronounce, to say Mihaela. And when you're typing this in English, it's kind of weird, because, like all true Slavs, I don't have problem with Russian way of saying things, Mihaela, so it's easy. Some people will find that confusing. I don't know. Anyway, true Slav, bro. Fox will be surname. Very weird surname for someone who have a Slavic name. And 345 will be integer. So sorry about quotes. And Mihaela. Very weird to type this in English. At MyCH. And yeah, let's have it in Canada. 1, 2, 3. Right. 2 lines, 2 rows are fine for practical purposes. We don't want to go to 10 of these rows. There is no purpose in that. We're just wasting our time. Anyway, now what? Well, now we cannot use execute here, because execute is dedicated for when you are when you are inserting only one row. So you must use something that is also same stuff in MySQL, which is execute many. Execute many, and then another thing after SQL instruction is what is the source with the bunch of stuff, which is in this case just source list. Source list. And now we will change this kind of report to, I don't know, multiple insert operation, okay. Multiple insert operation, okay. And down there we will say error while inserting multiple data. Multiple data, I think that is cool. So F5. And yeah, there you go, guys. Okay, so next question is, do we need to check that thing? Well, definitely. So we expect Nikita and Mihaela to be in a table. So refresh, and there you go, guys. We have those values. Everything is fine. All columns are fulfilled. Okay, let's run our script a couple of times more, and we're gonna finish this tutorial because it's very simple. Right, so save again and F5 and again F5, and now we will have 3 of these duplicates. Right, so let me check what's happening. refresh, and there you go. Why do I need duplicates? Because a little bit later we're gonna create scripts that will delete those duplicates. Okay, thank you for watching as always, and see you next tutorial. Hello guys, in this tutorial we're gonna learn how to grab all these rows through Python script. So nothing special here, pretty much, you know, basic skeleton of all scripts we were using up till now. We do have connection and then cursor, and then we will put our request here, then we will execute that request, and then we will fetch results. After that we're gonna close cursor, and if everything is fine, actually even if it's not, we're gonna close connection. Right, so primary stuff. Right, so what about SQL instruction? Well, it's no different than MySQL. So you're gonna say, if you wanna grab everything, every column, you're gonna say select all from people, because that's name of our table in target database. People, is that enough? No, because we need to fetch results after we push request to database, which is actually just a specifically structured SQLite file. Right, so we're gonna say rows, all rows from database. How to get it? Well, cursor dot fetch all, okay, and now we can just print it for testing purposes. So print rows, and it will be kind of mess, but we need to be sure that our script is working at least. There you go guys, it's a mess. Now we will fix this stuff. Right, so how we are going to do that? Well, the easiest thing is to say, to use for loop here. So for some specific, abstract x in rows. So this x will represent any row that we have when we did that fetch thing. So we will just print that thing, that specific x, which will represent every line from a bunch of stuff. And hopefully we'll get some kind of order, like 1, 2, 3 and so on. There you go guys, it is still kind of ugly, but better than a couple of seconds before. Now all these things, columns, you can grab them individually, stating positions here. But if you want to extract specific columns, your better option is not to tinker too much with extracting stuff from report. Your best option is just to go and change SQL command here. So target specific columns here, and do not mess around too much with reports, because you'll probably mix things up and your reports will change over time. So yeah. Well, let's grab first 3 rows, columns. So we're gonna say x0 to grab ID, and also x1 to grab name, and x2 to grab last name through positions. So F5, and there you go guys, that was what I was talking about. Right, but question is here, well, how we will get those reports in individual boxes vertically? Well, let me explain, and you will then understand what I was trying to say through example. Right, so here is the thing. Again, we're gonna use for loops. So for x in rows, we will print ID, and now we will target all those individual elements. All. So we will not tinker with specific columns. We will just grab them all one after another. So it's easier to do than explain, as always. So let me see, do I have everything ready and set here? Because maybe we can just grab this thing and copy paste it down there a couple of times. Because we need a name, which will be at position 1. We also need to grab last name. Oops. Yeah. Last name, which will be at position 2. Position 3 is telephone, if I remember correctly. Telephone, and then we will have email at position 4 and position 5 will be final for address, and then we will just print like this symbol so many times, like vertical report. Right, so save and F5, and there you go guys, we have all of them. Now maybe this will be useful to you, maybe not, maybe the useful thing will be like example from couple of minutes ago, you know, that bunch of stuff, but you know both of these. So let me just check, right, ID1, John Smith, yeah, and then next line, we do have all columns up till down there, all rows. So Michaela is at ID 16, so let me check that manually. Refresh, yeah, that's it, so that will work. Okay, that's kind of easy. Now what else we can do here? What is interesting? Well, here's the thing, I'm gonna put this in the comment section, because if you want to grab like a number of rows you have, then you can just say for example print length of rows, and then custom kind of report here like a number of rows, and we're gonna concatenate that, not with plus, just with the comma, and hopefully F5 will give us, right, so 13 of them. Let me check that. Right, 13. Okay, that's cool, that will work. So now we can just activate again this piece of code, and I'm gonna delete single quotes down there, and now you will get both of these. Right, where is that thing? Right, number of rows, and it's a kind of ugly, you know, it's not differentiated vertically, so you can just, you know, steal this code and put it right here, and you can even change it to be hash symbol, and then down there you can say also next line, yeah, something like that. There you go guys. So now what you can do, well, I don't know, you can generate some kind of CSS report, PDF report, you can push things into some other database. Yeah, that will demand a little bit of work, but you know, that's what we do as programmers. Right. Okay guys, that's it in this tutorial, nothing really special. Just don't forget to use this new method we learned here, fetch all, absolutely all, and then when you grab it, everything, then extract all these individual things. So do I have like a custom error messages here, error while retrieving results? That's fine. Connection closed, that's fine. What else we can change here? Let me see. Well, yeah, that's it guys. Okay, I'm gonna save it, run it one more time. Everything is cool, and thank you for watching. See you next one. Hello guys, in this tutorial we're gonna learn how to update specific fields, and you need to be extremely cautious here, because if you have stupid update statement, basically you can ruin multiple rows here, so you must be really precise when you are setting new values. Right, what about script? Well, you know up till now about our basic structure for a script. I don't want to explain that. What is important here is just SQL statement, and it's actually same stuff as in MySQL, so or MySQL. Well, right, so we're gonna say update because we are updating. What are we updating? Well, table people, and we are setting new stuff. So set, for example, let me see, so the name for Michaela on ID 12 will become, let's say, Annabella. Okay, something like that, who cares? So right, so set name equals Annabella, where ID equals 12. Now IDs are, when you are updating, extremely useful because they will minimize options for you to run into problems. So if they are like set from day one when you have your table, if they are auto incremented, then you are very safe when you're doing updates. But some advice is, to just combine IDs with some other column, just to be like a kinda safe a little bit more. Anyway guys, so we will not use execute many here, just execute, which means that I don't need additional data, and we can change a couple of these things, like multiple will not work here, update operation okay, update operation okay, and error while updating data. Yeah, updating data. And when I say F5 here, hopefully everything will be fine. So let me check what's happening, and we are talking about row 12 here, ID 12, sorry, because rows are a little bit different. They are like always following order, but actually you can delete specific ID, so yeah. Right, so let's do a refresh thing, and Michael need to be substituted with Annabella, hopefully. There you go guys. Okay, so here's a problem. If you're not cautious, you can create havoc here. For example, if you want to change like Mikhaila on ID 14, and you just target name, then you will change that thing all over the place. It's very dangerous. So let me explain. So if you want to, where is that thing? If you want to change Mikhaila, it's Ella. Where name equals, Annabella. We are setting Annabella to be substituted in place where we have Mikhaila. Now this thing will be very dangerous, because it's not looking into IDs or any other columns, it's just targeting all fields where we have Mikhaila, and we can have like dozens of Mikhailas. So just note here that in a table now we have how many? 2 of them, and we are like thinking about ID 14, let's say, or some other field, but actually we're gonna change everything, 14 and 16 and 116 and stuff like that. Right, save and F5. There you go, and let's see what's happening. Refresh. There you go. That was what I was talking about. So another thing is, well, okay, if for example you wanna combine a couple of these like columns to be safe, what you can do? Well, you can say we're gonna change Annabella at position 12 into Anna, but we will combine ID or last name plus no, we need to combine ID plus name, right? So let me do that. We are going to say that new value is Anna, where ID or where name equals Annabella, at the moment is Annabella, and ID equals, what was it? The first occurrence, 12, yeah, 12. And this is how you're getting that precision. 12 and F5, and there you go guys. Okay, let's do refresh here. There you go. So only Annabella is changed into Anna at position 12, ID 12, but we are also combining ID plus name in our script. Where is that thing? I'm kinda lost. Right. So name plus ID. Now in most of the cases you will just be happy with ID, but for extra security, I mean safety, just combine a couple of these, especially if you don't have ID as one of columns in your table. Okay, so can we for example use something that is not ID here? Well, sure, let me see. We're gonna change John Smith into I don't know, what is the name here? Like, let me think. Right, we are going to change it into Peter, where email is john@john. Sure, we can do that. And let me arrange this a little bit if I can, because I'm kinda, always forgetting what I need to change. Okay, just a second. Right, something like that. So we're gonna set update people set name equals Peter, where email equals John at John. And yeah, let's actually execute it, but I need triple quotes now because I'm in the new line. Okay, everything is green here, so that will work. Save and F5, and there you go. And let's check results, refresh, and now we need to see here that John is turned into Peter. There you go, guys. Okay, well, what about if we need to change this mail? Well, sure, we can do that too. We'll say update people set email equals Peter at Peter, where current name, email equals John at John. Sure, we can do that too. But yeah, if you have a lot of rows, just make sure that you will combine email plus some other column. Right, so save and F5. There you go. Okay, let me refresh that thing. And there you go, guys, we have a change. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Nothing special in this tutorial. You probably know about this update statement from my SQL playlist. Yeah, just to make sure that if you definitely don't have ID for some very weird reason in your table, then at least combine when you're updating two columns. Okay, and you will be probably safe. But for extra safety, do backup of your whole database. Right, so thank you for watching, and see you next one. Hello guys, in this tutorial we will learn how to work with views. What are views anyway? Well, here's the thing, if you're lazy like me and you like to automatize a lot, then views will save the day, because they are predefined reports. So let's say that during the day you need to create like multiple same reports. Well, you don't want to type that thing manually, you just create a view, and every time when you need to that report, you just call that view, everything from it actually, because you can be specific when you are getting into views. Anyway guys, what we are going to find here is all rows with Annabellas in it, and first thing first, we need to create view and then extract stuff from view. So let's create one view, create view, and not table, guys, not table, just view. Let's give it a name Annabellas, all Annabellas like. And now as. So this is a name of view, and now we'll go to next line to define what we need. Right, and I'm gonna use triple quotes because I need to go to next line. Right, something like that. So select all from people where name equal Annabella. Single quotes, normal quotes, Annabella. And guys, that's pretty much it if you want to create a view. So let's change these custom reports like create VEV, okay, and error while creating view. View, okay, save, and when I say run, then sorry, here when we do refresh we need to find that thing. Actually, I'm gonna just double click here. Where is that view? Refresh all database schemas. There you go. Right, and yes, we do have Annabella. So when I double click here, I will get data like this is a report, and this is how we get there. Okay, so data is what we care about. Now we do have this in SQLite Studio, that's fine, but how to extract all these things from view once when we have it? Well, actually we're gonna use absolutely same script here. For reference reasons, I'm just gonna copy paste this, or no, I'm gonna delete, because we have it, and it's very short. So now we are going to say select all from Annabella's. Not from people, from Annabella's, because that's the name of view, guys. And Control S, we're gonna save that thing, and F5, and here we don't have anything because actually I'm not printing what I have here. So let me see how to do that. Well, right here I can say for X in cursor, we will just print that specific X. So we are extracting those lines when we have pushed operation to cursor, and F5, and there you go, guys, we have a result. So everything is kind of cool. So anyway, it's not enough to have this statement, you also need to grab stuff targeting cursor. And can you extract only IDs and only emails? Well, sure, you can target these things by position. So IDs are 0 position, okay? And for example, if you want to grab mails, they're on 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, X4. Okay, save and F5, and there you go. Right, nothing special in this tutorial. As always, thanks for watching, and see you next one. Hello guys, in this tutorial we're gonna learn how to add completely new column in our table and how to fulfill it with default values. Okay, so we're gonna use already known structure for our script here, nothing special from a couple of last tutorials. And yeah, we're gonna use triple quotes because instruction will have a couple of lines. Okay, so what we need to say, because we are altering structure of our table, is alter table people. That's our target. And let's go to next line. We're going to say add column. So what is the name of that column? Sorry, just add a name of column. Well, let's call it custom, just custom. Right, what is the data type? We must say that. Well, it will be text, and default value, the alt, default value will be, I don't know, like a my stuff, let's say. Okay, and down there we need to change our custom report, like altering, okay, and error while altering table. Okay, save and F5. Okay, we have some kind of a report, but do we have result in reality? Well, observe what's gonna happen here. Refresh, and there you go, guys. We do have new column, and all those fields are automatically fulfilled. Right, so let's add, well, new value in our table. How we are going to say that? Well, here I'm gonna use single quotes. I think that will get the job done, or maybe not, right, let me see. So insert into people. We're gonna state those column names in order. We don't need ID because it will be done automatically. So name and last name and telephone and email, and I'm gonna go to next line. Address, and what was the name of column? Custom, right, custom. And now we need to tinker with values. Lewis, values, next line, and let's just have it right here. As for example, John Malkovich, and email will be john@malk.tld. And what I was forgetting here, right, integer for number 505-888, and address will be Hollywood 123, let's say, and custom value. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna just say here like custom stuff. Of course, that will be string. Custom stuff. And I think we are cool. So I'm gonna say insertion OK if everything is fine, and error while inserting things. Stuff. I don't know. Inserting stuff. Okay. F5. And since that everything is fine, so refresh. And there you go, guys. We have a new row here with our own custom stuff in custom column. But question is how we are going to activate default value. And this is the thing with SQLite. It's not kind of good when we talk about default values, because in MySQL, you know that the thing will work if you say default here. And that's how you're going to activate default value. But when I say F5, I will run into problem. So you will probably say, okay, but maybe I need to use here like quotes. Well, no, because this will be like a custom value. So this will not trigger like a default stuff. So this will be problem. Okay, F5. Everything will be fine, but here in a table you will have very stupid situation. You do have string, but it's not default string, which is actually my stuff. So that will not work. Then some people will say, okay, just use null, but here you're gonna have same stupid problem. Again, you will have null as a value, so that will not work. So I was searching on the internet, and actually there is no solution to that problem. Actually, I didn't find it even in documentation, and some people will advise the common sense solution just to drop that thing while you are inserting, like totally, just to have like dedicated insertion for situation when you have custom value and when you don't have it, which is kind of stupid, but you know, it will get the job done. What that means practically, guys, is just disregard that thing when you don't have last value here, in reality, guys, in reality. And now when you say F5, everything will be fine, and actually in the results you will have my stuff activated, which is kind of stupid, but it will work. So yeah, that's the thing. Okay, so question here is how to delete this custom column through Python script. And actually it is kind of weird again with SQLite, because you need to do you need to copy this whole table, and you can find those explanations on internet. You need to copy it and you need to disregard the last column, which is stupid. So my advice is just not to search and waste your time with that example. Don't use Python script, just use SQLite Studio. And the question is here, well, how to do that? Because if you go here on custom and if you right click, you will not have option to delete that even in this view, this SQLite Studio view. So what you need to do is go to structure here, and where is that thing? Right, click here, okay, but before doing that, do refresh, and now you see it. So click on it now, and here click on delete column, and it will ask you, are you sure you wanted to delete that column? Yes. And now confirm here, commit structural changes, and click again here, and now you will get the job done. So do refresh, and that's how you delete that column. See, you don't have it anymore in reality. So yeah, I mean, you can search on internet for examples how to do like how to copy people into people tool, like a backup, and how to disregard that column we inserted, but it will be basically just a waste of your time. So yeah, if you have access to SQLite Studio, you can get that stuff manually. So that's my advice. And yeah, guys, I mean, this is just a file. SQLite database is just a file, and if you need something more complicated and more like industrial for your application, Just use MySQL. With MySQL you have a bunch of options that will work with Python or PHP out of the box, so you don't need to search too much on internet for all these edge cases like you have in SQLite. Right. Okay guys, I'm gonna shut up, and in the next tutorial we're gonna learn how to drop what we can drop here. We can drop views, we can delete from table, and yeah, we can totally destroy our database, and that will be final like tutorial. Why not? Okay guys, so thank you for watching as always, and see you next one. Okay guys, in this tutorial we're gonna learn how to destroy things, how to delete stuff. For example, in our table we wanna delete something that is at ID 12. So the instruction is completely same as in MySQL, or as they like to say, MySQL. Use whatever you like. I mean, when we are talking about terminology. Right, so we're gonna use structure of script from last tutorial, nothing special here, you know about that up till now, and we will say delete from our target, which is people, table people, where ID equals what I was talking about, 12, yeah, 12, and down there we're gonna change reports into something bearable and default, which will be like operation okay, and also for error, if we run into that thing, we're gonna say error while doing stuff. Right. Okay. F5 and operation okay, that's kind of cool. And when I do refresh, there you go guys, we don't have ID 12. Now question here is, well, how we will do removal of all rows here? Because in MySQL you have that like a truncate table people, but if you run that into SQLite, let me do that. Truncate table people. If you run that thing with F5, well, we do have a problem, and then you will say, okay, wait a second, maybe you just need to delete that table here as a part of command. Well, F5, and again we have a problem. Well, actually you can't use truncate because this is not MySQL, this is SQLite, so we need to do something else, which is delete from people. So let's do that. Delete from people, and F5 and operation okay, and when we say refresh, there you go guys, absolutely nothing. Now next question is, well, can we then delete that table like completely, like structure, like physically remove it from file? Can we say drop table people? Well, drop table people, F5 and operation okay, and refresh, and see, we cannot load data for that table because there is pretty much no that thing, no such table. Okay, so click here on target database or whatever you have as a name, refresh all database schematics, and when you click on tables, actually you don't have it. So yes, you can use this thing, which is exactly same as in MySQL. Right, next question. Well, what about that view? Can we remove it with drop table Annabellas? Is that Annabellas? Annabellas, right, F5, and we cannot do that. So while doing stuff, use drop view. Yeah, so they are stating use drop view because view is not a table, it's just predefined report. So same stuff as in MySQL, you cannot use table, you must say view. And F5, and there you go guys, operation complete. So target and refresh database schematics, and we don't have views anymore, and see, red errors, and we don't have tables. So that will work. Now some people will say, well, Okay, can I say something like drop database target? Well, check this out. Drop database target and F5 and problem, because this is not client-server architecture. This is not MySQL. We are not logged in a server. So there is no purpose in dropping database that is somewhere else, because that database is just a file on our system. So you will not use drop database. Where is that thing? All files. Right. So what you will do is extremely easy. You will just delete your file and that's it, guys. Don't use drop database because you're not hooked to any server. And why is this useful actually? Because your database is a file, you can just copy paste it somewhere in your system. You can upload it to your FTP server. You can send it to your email as a backup. You can do stuff with this. You can create with the Python script a backup of it on 10 places on internet. So yeah, and guys, I'm gonna, what is this, a final tutorial? I'm gonna pretty much shut up right here, because if you know MySQL and up till now you need a little bit about SQLite, then I'm totally sure that if you run into some kind of problem or you need to do something, that you will know how to do that. Because I do have playlist with MySQL 40 tutorials, and then MySQLi with PHP, and then MySQL plus Python, and now you have SQL plus Python. So I think I have probably around 120 or 30 tutorials. So pretty much you have very nice background here. And also on other people's channels you have bunch of stuff. On internet you have bunch of stuff, bunch of examples, and the bottom line, at the end of the day, you just need to learn how to use Google, how to do Stack Overflow thing. So I will not create 40 tutorials again about SQLite, because the stuff is pretty much similar to what I already have in a MySQL or MySQL playlist, call it whatever you like. So yes, this will be final tutorial here. I don't want to waste your time anymore, bother you with this, and when I catch a little bit of time, I'm gonna turn all these scripts from my tutorials. I will upload it on my website, which is WebDevPro Tutorials. So yeah, but I definitely need to find the time to do that because I'm extremely busy these days. Right guys, so that is pretty much it. As always, thank you for watching, for support and subscription, as they say. Thank you for everything, because in the last 2 months my channel grow a lot, for 2,000 subscribers, because I ended up in a media, in a press. So it's kind of nice, Right, okay, definitely I'm gonna shut up. Thank you for watching, and see you next playlist. Yeah, see you there.